Hey everyone, it's Friday. It's Invisible Walls. We're fresh off, well, we're actually really fresh off the VGAs. You guys don't know this. We're actually recording the show a little bit earlier in the week this week because of the holiday. So we're actually recording on Monday. So don't hold us to the latest and greatest breaking news this week. We do want to make sure we get an episode out for you guys before everyone goes their separate ways. And this is it, Invisible Walls number 88. We have a good crew on the show today, the last show of the year, unless we manage to provide a Christmas Day surprise for you all. And sitting in on the last episode of 2009 is Ryan Stevens.
It could be a Christmas miracle.
It could be.
Or a Kwanzaa disaster. I don't know.
Be sure to check next Friday, though.
You left out Hanukkah, though.
Yeah.
Why?
Why? Those are my people.
Oh, that's
Well, half of me.
We're going to try to get something out for next Friday. Don't hold us to it, but be sure to check in because if we do something, I think it's going to be pretty cool. Mike Damiani is also on the show today.
Hey there, everyone.
The Sheriff of Nottingham, Justin Spear.
I don't know if I want to keep that up in 2010. I think I might have to leave that behind.
You're going to have to come up with a better nickname before we drop the old one.
That's your New Year's resolution.
I think I'm now a duke. Actually,
The Duke of Nottingham.
My land holdings have increased.
Okay.
Wow.
Vassals?
I have plenty of vassals.
I have vassals in different area codes.
I sleep with their wives, stuff like that.
And Daniel Bloodworth is also on the show today. What's up, man?
Hey, doing good. Been a while.
That's right, but he's back, and he's back for the last show of the year. Let's do it. All right. First, as you might expect, we are going to talk about the Spike Video Game Awards that just went off this weekend. Now, to keep this from going all willy-nilly, I'm going to toss each one of you guys. I'm going to ask for your general impression of the show, and be honest, and then tell me what your favorite exclusive was and why. And we'll start with Ryan Stevens.
I was there in person in the back row. I thought it was cool seeing Stevie Wonder. The set was pretty cool. I'm not the biggest award show fan in general. I felt this time around it was a little more direct than the one from last year. You know, there weren't any like skits really. I mean, I guess there's some onstage stuff, but nothing like pre-recorded. I thought it was a little weird. I mean, I know they do this every year, but I thought it was a little weird when some of the awards are just kind of said during the commercial breaks. I wasn't really expecting that. Overall, you know, like for someone who doesn't like award shows, maybe the free beer helped, but I thought it was kind of easy to sit through. And trailer-wise, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be the only one, I think Batman was started with a bang and thought it was really cool. I mean, as you would say, the money's on the table. Of course, they're going to do it, but I think we had a little precog on what we were expecting from the show, and Batman was a real surprise for me, personally. So
It's also done the best of all the trailers we put up, more than Halo Reach. It's the biggest game of the VGAs so far.
yeah, and a little weird that the Star Wars game, Force Unleashed 2, Starkiller coming back, it's like seems a little...
Yeah, how does that work?
Well, it looks like
Yeah, a
he's a
little
good
more
guy
stars.
now, right? That's the twist.
I'm sorry, it looks like what?
He's a good guy, or he's struggling with being a good guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
I feel for him.
I go through that every day. Mike D, your impressions of the VGAs.
No, I only really got to see the VGAs through our site with all the videos we put up afterwards.
You did not watch
I
the
was
VGAs.
caught in that godforsaken rainstorm we had driving down to Orange County. And for a party. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to catch them live.
Were you going to a VGA party?
I wasn't going to a VGA
This
party.
is where
I was
you
going to someone
lie.
else's birthday party, but they asked about the VGAs, and actually my parents asked about the VGAs. I was surprised they had actually heard about it, but I did watch the behind-the-scenes thing that Jeff Keighley did, so I got to see the stage and everything. I did like the little virtual reality type set going there that changed for the different presentations. It looked fun. It had Kimbo Slice in it. I really wish I could have seen that because Kimbo's awesome. But no, I like the Batman trailer. I mean, there are a lot of good trailers there, but Batman definitely, because even though it's definitely taking a page from Arkham, and we didn't get to see too much of it, the concept of it definitely looks like it might be borrowing a little bit from a No Man's Land. If you guys know what that is, it looks like it might be all of Gotham is like run amok, and basically Batman has to bring it under his jurisdiction again. I'm hoping we get Lockup in there.
Did you see at the very end how like the Batman logo actually kind of collapses. I'm wondering if they actually are going to do like the earthquake from No Man's Land, like
Yeah,
halfway through the game, because that'd be really
That
interesting
might
to
be
pull
the
off.
way, yeah.
That'd be a really
Definitely.
cool game mechanic.
I'm just hoping that it's not going to focus too much on the Joker. I know they put him in that trailer because he's recognizable. We got over Arkham. I just don't want it to be all about Joker again. That was my biggest concern from the trailer. I'd like to have more villains in there.
Well, there are some hints in the trailer to the Penguin. There was a black cat in there somewhere. You guys will all
Oh, I
see
didn't
that.
see the cat. Yeah,
You'll
yeah,
see
I
that
didn't
on
see
our
Black Mask. Yeah.
You'll see that all in our pop block that we're working on right now. In fact, that may even be up before you see the show. But so far, 2 Batmans. Justin,
Pass.
pass.
That's not an appropriate answer.
What?
I guess not. I also did not see it on television. I actually only have Netflix. Everything has to be in a disc-based format for me to see it. I guess I can.
You don't
stream
have
things,
cable
too.
or direct.
I don't. I just unplugged it and said, "Screw it."
You know, you could
Which is
watch it
too
your
bad.
way with live camera angles on Spike.com.
I should have checked that. I guess. I think my wife was playing Mafia Wars or something. I don't know.
All right, Bloodworth, what do you think? You were there in person.
Yeah, I was there. No, I thought they're doing a much better job every year. They're getting better and better. I think they do a good job of balancing between the awards and the exclusives and the entertainment. You know,
That was that's probably my big comment about it this year, is that they took it a lot more seriously.
Yeah.
They gave the developers time to give real acceptance speeches. More than one person was allowed to talk for each award. I think in general, in the years past, all we hear is get rid of the sketches. We don't want celebrities. All we want is games. Well, first of all, making an Oscars for video games, they already have that, which is the DICE Awards, 1. 2, you'd watch about 20 minutes of that, and even I think all of us would turn that off after about 20 minutes. So you
Need
can't
some kind of stimulation, right?
you can't just have people in tuxedos going up and accepting awards for games. You can't do it. It hardly works for the movies, and I don't think it would work at all for our generation, the people who play games. And wanna
Well, I
interact.
think part of it too is, I'm still a lot of the celebrity hosts I don't dig too much, but I think you need somebody up there that's going to be able to do that, because if it were other game developers or journalists, we're not trained like actors to be able to give those presentations in
Right.
a clear manner. I do think that some of the awards are still kind of sketchy. The best performance by a human male, whatever that
Yeah.
Human and female.
Well, some of the things were a little odd too. Assassin's Creed won Best Action Adventure over Uncharted 2. Then Uncharted 2 wins Game of the Year over Assassin's Creed 2. But that's kind of what happens when you let the fans vote, right? Obviously, a lot of Uncharted 2's community came and voted for it for Game of the Year. It probably didn't go through all the categories to make sure that it voted for it for Action Adventure of the Year as well. So it's kind of the nature of the beast when you allow the general audience to have their voice, and it's just kind of the way it is.
Like the Kids' Choice Awards. Right?
Really quick, I just want to say I thought it was really cool when Kelly Santiago was like, "Hey, all you guys who got laid off, come join us.
Yeah.
Our
Oh,
independent games." I thought that was pretty cool. I wasn't really expecting that.
And then they were all like, okay, show me some money and I'll come join you.
Also, Stevie Wonder is awesome.
Yeah, that was my absolute highlight of the show. Beyond all the games, Stevie Wonder being there, which it was just, to me, was incredible. He was performing next door. He was doing some kind of a Christmas TV special or whatever. And they basically just threw it out to his people. They're like, hey, do you think he'd want to come over and present? And he was all in and came in and did it on a last minute's notice. The funny part is he was the only person who didn't use a teleprompter.
I wonder why.
But he did the best job presenting. He got a couple of his facts a little wrong, but as far as being natural and just kind of delivering what he needed to deliver, I thought he was one of the best presenters there. So
Yeah, he seemed really into it.
yeah.
You know?
So, Blood, what was your favorite piece of media from the show?
I have to go with Batman as well. I think partly just because I did not expect it at all.
Yeah.
And sitting there in the crowd, we saw them wheel out the big box, and like, okay, I get it. They're going to be announcing a new Batman game. But I thought it was a little, soon to be expecting anything out of that. So
For my personal favorite, I already gave my impressions of the show, I think. I think my personal favorite was probably Spec Ops, because it shows, like, it hints at that whole sand thing. So it's kind of like there are morphing worlds. You never know if the sand's going to collapse underneath you, where that sand's going to take you. I thought, a lot of the games that they show were kind of exactly what I expected. Halo, obviously. Was that Master Chief? I still can't figure out what that trailer was about, the Halo trailer.
Felt too much like it was another ODST trailer to me.
Yeah.
I honestly expected them to have something more iconic out of that, and it just turned out to be another generic like Halo trailer. And it didn't do a lot for me to get me excited for the game.
Yeah, I don't think the trailer was made with people who are just sort of general fans of the game in
Yeah,
mind.
they're really catering to fans lately. And ODST is like totally, if if you played Halo 3 and they're like, oh, it's not a new one. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are
it's
people
just like bonus backstory stuff like that, right?
Well, they're definitely pushing towards
Not
it
everyone
looks like a
cares.
4-player co-op mechanic.
Yeah, or some sort of squad-based something or other. But I think people wanted to see the Chief, right? And then they kind of teased it with the beginning with the whole taking the helmet off and putting it on the camera, and you never really get to figure out who the guy is until they say his name and he talks. You realize it's not Master Chief.
Do you notice looked like a Ghost ripoff in that too?
Yeah.
There's the Spartan with the mask painted like that.
I think overall, what you saw, I think you saw the ripple effect of Modern Warfare at that show. You see Spec Ops, which is basically Modern Warfare with some crazy sand mechanic. Then you have Medal of Honor, which looks just like Modern Warfare. I guess if we can't have Modern Warfare every year, these other games are going to start filling in the gaps. But yeah, I think you're definitely seeing the ripple effect of the $500 million in 2 days in 2 territories thing there at the show.
Yeah, and I did not expect True Crime to come back. That was kind of a weird one.
True Crime Stranglehold edition.
More demonic concubines in this one, you want
Yeah, it's I think just as a general sort of overall opinion of the show, I think the show was a lot better this year. And Bloodworth, I agree with you. It gets better every year. It's come a long way since Sarah Silverman or whoever came out a few years ago and basically just laid into gamers for like 10 minutes straight. They get it. It's a lot more about the games now. It's not so much about the sketch comedy. The opening with Jack Black was kind of a little bit of a throwback to that, but I think most people who play games respect him at least a little bit for his work on Brutal Legends. So I think the show's headed in the right direction. Hopefully everyone listening or watching, Invisible Walls agrees that it is going in the right direction. I saw a lot of comments on message boards over the weekend where people were like, I'm going to watch this crap. I just found out that Snoop Dogg's on there. It's like, dude, why?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, what's wrong with Snoop Dogg?
One thing that struck me during the performance, though, is like...
Well, my dad's a police officer.
I heard
I
Snoop
don't
Dogg
approve of his
stuff.
lyrics.
Snoop Dogg stuff was playing when I was in like junior high.
Yeah.
And he's still out there performing and still really popular. I mean, that's a pretty strong statement.
Yeah, his song wasn't bad. I mean, he's never going to beat The Chronic. I mean, that's just pretty much impossible at this point. But I thought his performance was pretty good. I thought the song was okay. Like, at some point, not every one of these shows is going to be made for that 0.5% of people that play games that are just like, I just want to see games and developers. Like, you're never going to be able to make a show like that. So I think they have to find a happy medium, and I think they're doing a really good job of starting to find that happy medium. They're respecting the developers when they need to respect them, respecting the games when they need to respect them, also respecting the fact that not everybody watches the show is a hardcore gamer like us. So I think it's headed on the right path, can definitely get better, and we'll see next year. All right, next we're going to talk about 2010. What the games are that we're most excited for next year.
The Lost Rush album.
Now we'll do our most anticipated games of 2010 GT countdown, but this is just sort of the team that's on the show, us talking about the stuff we're really psyched for. Ryan, if you had to choose one game based upon what you know now to play next year, what would that game be?
Probably BioShock 2, even though, I know Ken Levine's off of it. And wait. Maybe Metroid Other M. I don't know. It's a hard question. I loved BioShock
What about Halo
1.
Reach?
Not Halo
Don't
Reach.
you like the Halos?
I
Master
think we've
Chief?
talked about the Halos enough.
No?
I really, really like BioShock 1. From everything I've seen so far, I think I'm going to I may not like the multiplayer so much, but I'm very into the whole continuation of the Rapture story, as well as I know the gameplay. Even if it is kind of a real direct sequel, I know I'm going to be totally fine with that kind of first-person adventure thing.
Well, I think it's one of those games, too, where the first game laid down the foundation so well that as long as whoever takes up the mantle doesn't deviate too far away from that structure, the sequel should at least be good, right?
Mm-hmm. And it is a little weird that they have like 9 different development studios on it, which
Yeah.
always kind of... It's like back in the day when you had a game that was like multi-genres, I feel like, and it usually was never like, Shadows of the Empire is never, it's like you're racing, you're flying, you're shooting.
It's never basically good.
Yeah. But I also feel like
I played it, though.
splitting all the... Hoth was great. I feel like splitting...
It was good on the
developers-
SNES too, though.
Huh?
You can't mess up that level. It's good even on SNES, even with Mode 7. Tripping the walkers.
Yeah.
I just feel like doing all the developing, farming out, and not just like little things like art assets. I just feel like it's a little weird. I'm sure we're going to see it more and more and more, but it makes me a little apprehensive. On the other hand, Team Ninja making a Metroid game, I guess it could be bad, but I have a feeling it's going to be totally awesome.
Yeah,
and
my
it's
fear with
gonna come out.
BioShock is what I really liked about the first BioShock were the little touches and the sort of the little polish that they put on the game. And my fear now is that you don't have someone like a Ken Levine who's very detail-oriented working on the game, that it may not have that extra sort of level of cool stuff in it. Damiani, what game are you really looking forward to next year?
I'm looking forward to Final Fantasy 13.
But you don't have to wait much longer for that.
I know, I don't have to wait much longer for that. Ryan, I'm actually surprised that you didn't say Last Guardian. Are you just not confident that game's coming out next year?
I don't think it's coming out.
You don't
next
think
year.
it's coming out next year? All right. Well,
I'd be surprised if it comes out next year.
I was thinking like a holiday title at least. I mean, because that actually is, besides Final Fantasy 13, Last Guardian is the other one I'm really looking forward to. I mean, I hope it comes out next year. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
they
it's good
sit on
as-
that for too long.
As good as 09 has been for the PS3, is 2010 concern for the system as far as software?
God of War,
like
Heavy Rain,
helps.
Mag.
But
Right, but
That's
initially-
all top heavy. Well,
yeah,
yeah,
and
that was a
I
joke.
don't know about Mag.
I was making sure you're paying attention.
Yeah.
well, going
almost
back
got
to
me.
Final Fantasy 13, like you mentioned, God of War 3, they come out with like within a week or so of each other. They're stacked together in March. That kind of has me a little bit concerned, honestly, because I'd like to play both games, but 13 comes out first, and that's the 50, 60-hour game.
I think
And,
they're kind of different audiences, though, for those two games.
Well, they're different audiences, but what about someone like me who likes both those types of
Right.
games, and I'm going to be playing through 13? That's going to take, a week or two to get through that, and then God
Only a week.
of God of War, well, maybe longer than that. Maybe longer than that. Yeah. If God of War 3 does come out like a week or two after that, it's gonna be like right on top of each other. And let's not forget, there's also a lot of other games coming out in March too. So,
Oh, yeah.
But with Final Fantasy 13, I mean, I just hope that it's somewhat decent.
You didn't really like the demo.
The demo wasn't that great because I really liked what they did in 12. I like RPGs to be more real time. I appreciate the turn-based system for what it was, but I've come to a point where I prefer having real time rather than going through menus. But 13 seems to have, it's trying to give that like this it's like a facade. It looks like real time at first, but it's completely menu controlled. And I'm just kind of concerned that they're taking a step back with that. But I mean, from what I've seen and what I actually got to play a little bit of it at TGS, it did improve like leaps and bounds from that demo they put out like back in, was it March or April? And I like a good story in a game. I'm hoping it can have a decent story. I mean, the trailers have kind of made it look like it's a bunch of angsty characters whining a lot, like a K-drama almost. But
That's
Wow.
Final Fantasy at this point, isn't it?
yeah,
Well,
you gotta back
they're
myself
crossing
in the
over
corner.
from J drama to K drama.
K-drama.
Even more.
Yeah, well, Final Fantasy X was
I
all
didn't say
K-drama.
K-drama.
but-
Justin,
No one's mentioned it. I guess I'd have to say Mass Effect 2 looks really good. I mean, the first one I thought
I'm
was
not even
awesome,
counting
and,
games coming out in January.
Yeah.
Mass Effect
Yeah.
2 is my most anticipated game that I know nothing about. I've kind of kept myself in the dark on that one.
They're spilling all kinds of. They keep putting out those class trailers, but they're
Every
really. It looks
day.
like they're bumping up every class to be like just more fun in combat. The basic gameplay is getting better, and I have to imagine the little things like
the badass.
like
biotic.
some of the technical issues and the buildings all looking the same.
Oh God.
I actually
yeah.
liked rolling around planets. I mean, some people didn't, but I just really feel like they'll fix all the small stuff and then it'll be really awesome. But if I had to pick two more, just for a shout
no,
out,
there was supposed to be
Yeah.
one there,
No,
Duke.
no.
yeah, no more Heroes 2. My increased rank, allows me another choice. No more Heroes 2.
Really?
I'm really
January.
I like the first one a lot. It's flawed, but
You liked
it's
it
really
that
awesome.
much?
It's one of those things where if I don't play it, I will always wonder like what the hell did they do with that? I just have to play it for my curiosity. And
For me,
I did
after
like the first
playing
one.
the first, my interest in playing the second one is not as
I
much.
still think the first one's good. It just has problems, but
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but it didn't make me want to play a sequel that much.
Was it the
It's
controls
one of
or
those
just the
games.
whole package?
just
really?
the whole game just didn't seem very polished and
I'll give you that, but it still was kind of fun to just go through it.
yeah, I mean it was interesting. I played it from beginning to end. I didn't stop, but I would just say that after I played it, my interest if you had said, "Hey, we're gonna make a sequel to this game," before I played the first one, then I would have been really excited for the sequel. Now that I've played the first one and you ask me that, I say, not as
yeah,
much.
well, you give them a chance to fix stuff. Whatever happened to I Am Alive though? I
yeah,
don't know. Let's keep-
we gave it too many awards, so it went away. Bloodworth.
I'm definitely Metroid. I've always been a big Metroid fan, and beyond that, though, I think there's some things that the Prime trilogy just wasn't able to nail just right. Being in first person, you're kind of limited to what Samus can do in terms of jumping and agility and speed boosts and things like that. Plus, what Team Ninja's doing with it, I don't even recognize what kind of game this is really going to be.
Remember me?
Remember me?
It looks really different. It's not like they're copying and pasting off of some other engine. So I think that, it could be very innovative.
Yeah, it could be like a new game type.
Yeah.
Really. That weird kind of faux 2D, but obviously lots of 3D.
Well, it looks to me like they're just changing it up constantly. Like they have some first-person aiming and then some, platforming and some kind of arena-style combat stuff. I really love it when she does the bulldog thing. She gets him in the headlock and then stuffs the gun in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More awesome stuff like that.
Yeah, I
awesome.
think that's what the type of stuff that Team Ninja is going to bring to that game too. Is sort of bring it into the modern age. I feel like the people who've been making Metroid have kind of adhered to this sort of set of standards of what Metroid should be, and I feel like you can see Samus now sort of be a modern day Samus and do a lot of things that you've seen in action games for the last several years. And I think Team Ninja is a team that could do that. As far as I'm concerned, man, I don't even know. It's tough. I'm really leaning heavily towards Nintendo games this year. Metroid Other M for me as well. I really love the Ninja Gaiden series. I don't want them to make Metroid a Ninja Gaiden, but I like where they place their priorities in making a game when they make Ninja Gaiden. And so I have a firm belief that they'll do the same thing with Metroid Other M. They'll find these fundamentals that are going to be really fun, and they're going to create a lot of depth behind them. So that's my hope anyway. And then I'm all over Super Mario Galaxy 2. Love the first Mario Galaxy. I know it looks a lot like the first, but I really, really enjoyed the first game. So I'm excited to play the sequel. And lastly, Zelda. I think there's a lot of mystery behind this Zelda. We don't know really anything about it other than some of the comments that came out a week or so ago where they said that Twilight Princess was sort of the starting foundation for the next one. That was a little discouraging for me, honestly. Like, I would hope that the one that's coming up now would be the foundation for Zelda going
I was
forward.
kind of hoping for a total,
Because it's like that was Zelda, right? It's the Zelda we've been playing for a long time, albeit more realistic and with motion controls.
and with more bug catching.
Right. And I'm just hoping that, this one really is a reboot and it sort of takes things in a whole new direction. Like, I would love to see just a really dark, evil art style for this game. Not necessarily realistic. It can have a style to it, but just something a little darker, a little more sinister, something for the older player. I don't want it to be an M-rated game. I don't want there to be a lot of blood. But and I may have said this on the show before, it's like, look at an album cover for Molly Hatchet. If you ever seen the artwork that they use on their album covers, it's just this awesome high fantasy, dark concept art. I would love to see them work something like that. Hopefully we can pop that album cover up so people can see what I'm talking about right now. But I would love to see a Zelda in that art style that takes itself really seriously. So we'll see. I think, they've been building that game with the Motion Plus in mind for a while now. So we're going to see, Natal stuff and Sony's motion controller games coming out this year. I think this Zelda will be their chance to say, hey, we've been working with this technology for a while. You guys are playing catch up. This is what you guys have to catch up to.
I still wouldn't mind a GameCube version, though. I'd play it.
All right, next up is the biggest MPD report of the year. It is the November MPD report. We actually have the top 20 this time around, which is great. We can kind of look for bigger trends, some games that really did well out of the gate in October, but maybe limped through November. Obviously, the big story here, Modern Warfare 2. We already knew about this. It sold 5 million copies, $500 million, and whatever. I mean, I think it represents, about 80% of all the sales on this list? Is that right?
It's a spicy meatball, that's for
That
sure.
is a big ass
crazy.
meatball. It's insane. I don't think I've ever seen a game dominate like this one before.
It's like a meatloaf.
Super Mario Brothers Wii, certainly respectable what it did over 1 million in the month, which I think is probably right about what they expected, although Reggie did say it would beat
By the end of the year.
He said by
yeah,
January it would beat one of the platforms
By
sales.
January.
So he probably means by PS3, by end of the year, PS3 sales, it will beat that.
Well, I mean, it's pretty close already, isn't it? I mean, it's what?
Yeah, it's a few 100,000 difference.
Yeah, you have 1.87 million of Modern Warfare 2 sold on the PS3. You have about 1.4 million of Mario Brothers Wii. I think Reggie will probably be right there.
Yeah, I think people wanted it to put in the context of outselling the 360 version, which maybe by the end of this generation, maybe, but no way by January, not a chance.
Yeah, I think one thing I will say is that you see games for the Wii have longer legs. So, Modern Warfare 2 is going to do great for these next few months. I think it'll kind of fall off because they know
I
another
don't
one's
know.
coming.
Will it fall off that much?
Well, I think trust me, there's 4 million people playing that game every night. The amount of people playing it isn't going to change. I think the sales are going to change. I mean, how many people are there left to buy it still that haven't bought it already?
Oh,
Right.
people keep making people.
That's true. But those people that they make
we have to have a talk?
are babies. And hopefully babies are not playing Modern Warfare 2. Assassin's Creed 2, respectable at 800K, though a huge, huge drop-off from the first game.
Yeah, I think they got to be a little surprised about that. I mean, I honestly was expecting it to do better than the first one. I mean, the first one had that intrigue going in, the mystery about it.
Well, first one over a million for sure, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
oh,
it did
my
over a
gosh.
million.
I
On
think
the
it,
360 though,
oh, yeah.
because combined it's over 1 million if you count.
Well, it ended up selling, I think it was close to 5 million worldwide.
Yeah, but not in its first month though.
Right. Still, I mean, it's a solid entry. I think who benefited most from sticking with Q4 and not bailing out for Modern Warfare 2 was Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh yeah, but I mean they also tons of advertising.
Yeah, but I
It-
mean,
it-
they sold 800K, and the game, I mean, it's 12 months to the day
Right,
after the
yeah.
first one came out. So I think they got to be pretty happy with that.
Oh, I'm sure they're ecstatic.
That-
I mean, I think they already doubled what the first game did when its first month out.
Yeah.
Yep. And then we have Wii Sports Resort, 720K, Wii Fit Plus, 680K, Mario Kart with wheel, 315K to round out the 10th spot. Kind of disappointing that the 10th best-selling game in November only did 315K, though.
That's a lot of wheels, though.
That is a lot of wheels. There's no doubt about it. And I was saying this actually before we started recording. I'm surprised that Super Mario Galaxy doesn't pop back up in these lists during the holiday season. It seems like that would be a game a lot of people would go for if they haven't already owned a Wii. So
Doesn't have a wheel.
apparently not. You need some kind of little.
They should just sell
What
it with
exactly
wheel.
is
Super Mario Galaxy
value
with
game
wheel.
bundle?
Yeah, I was just
How about the
thinking
other
that to
value
myself,
game
Daniel. What is this game at number 13 on the list? Can someone explain that to us?
Number 13. That would be
There's a
value
13
game
and
bundle.
16. Yeah.
It looks like it took the place of some other crappy value game bundle that used to sell.
Well,
for Wii.
$19.99. The $4 or $5 can make a big difference in your.
Maybe
value
it's
game
all those
bundle.
Wii shovelware games I see when I go to Best Buy, and my friend and I go through the aisle, and we just pick all these. Like, have you ever
I heard
seen
it
the
has
Wii
Battleship.
aisle? The Wii aisle is just dominated by shovelware at Best Buy.
I think this literally is a bundle though, because if you look at the publisher, it says multiple video game manufacturer, which would be a great name for a publisher, but I have a feeling it probably is a joint venture.
So then you look farther on down the list, you see Mario and Luigi was at 14, Dragon Age at 15. We don't have the numbers as far as
Well,
how well
the
they
Dragon
sold.
Age on 360 was at 9.
Right. So that's a pretty far drop for the PS3. Well, I guess it's not that bad, really. PS3 versus 360.
Did we mention
Tekken.
previously?
No
How-
Tekken,
Yeah, no Tekken.
and that was super late October.
I think the bigger deal here, though, is where is Uncharted?
Oh yeah, huh?
Where is it? It's not even in the top 20. The month after it was released.
It might have just fallen victim to that trend where, as you're saying, like some games have long legs, like some of the Nintendo products. It seems like this generation, a lot of the bigger titles, first month they're on there, they chart in the middle, and then they vanish the second month because everyone goes out and buys it right away.
Right, but
I
here's
think-
Madden holding at 20.
And when you have to think some
was
people were
released
buying
in August.
PS3s for Christmas as well.
Yeah, I mean,
ODST at 18.
Maybe it was just that there were these many new games coming out in November, and on top of what did people want the most for Christmas for these other systems, and it just got pushed out. You know, maybe it's sitting there right at 21 and just barely didn't make the cut.
Still really surprising,
Yeah.
especially considering that it does have a really good multiplayer element. So it's not like when you finish it, there's nothing to do. A lot of those games tend to, a shorter single player game that doesn't have a whole lot to offer after it's over. Those
You
are
can
the
buy it
games-
used then
Right.
too.
Right. Those are the games that tend to sort of fall off the charts after the first month. I don't know. It's surprising to me, especially after all the critical acclaim the game has received and the great word of mouth it's getting across the internet. Just really surprised to see it out of there. So, and kind of disappointed too. And then we got to look at the hardware sales. Obviously, that's what the console war is all built around, right? Right?
Yeah,
I
boss.
guess.
Whatever you say, boss. And here we go. Looks like the Wii took the stranglehold on the industry once again at 1.3 million consoles sold, and then there's the DS with 1.7 million units sold.
DSi,
I think they're
I'm
replacing toilet paper with DSs.
It's
Yeah,
insane.
I think there are people out there that eat those.
And then the big thing here is that after a couple months after the price cut, the PlayStation 3 has went back down to third place. Not outsold by much, but the 360 outsold it by about 100,000 units in November. So
Well, 360 has got those new bundles now with Lego Batman and, trying to hit that family angle before Natal.
And you had the price drop for the PS3. It didn't seem to sort of hold up as long as we might have thought it would, especially with all the great software that came out this year. Just really surprised by that. I really thought the PlayStation 3 was sort of in second place to stay, and even had a possibility maybe of eventually supplanting the Wii, but...
Well, I think another thing on a smaller level is, remember last year was supposed to be the year of Blu-ray, and because of the economy it didn't happen. And it didn't happen this year, I think, because now everyone's just streaming things.
Well, yeah, it's like you have Netflix on your machine, and you're like, well, do I really need Blu-ray at this point? Because I can watch HD movies. And how long is it going to be until Netflix is like, screw it, we'll let you stream every movie instead of just the ones that have been out for a year or 2 years or whatever. It's only a matter of time, right? So maybe people looked at that investment.
Now.
Right. Maybe people looked at that investment and said, well, maybe in a year I'll be able to stream all this stuff. I won't need a Blu-ray drive. So... nonetheless, pretty interesting. I think the big surprise was no Uncharted in the top 20 and the PS3 dropping to third after a couple really good months. Still, I think good numbers for the PS3, though, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you're still looking at 710,000 units sold in November, which is...
And there is still a price difference, so
Yeah.
it's pretty significant.
It is. But overall, I think the industry was down a little bit compared to 2008.
Yeah,
but,
even with Modern Warfare.
Right. But 2008 was probably one of those years that'll maybe never be topped, or may not be topped until we get into the heart of the next console generation. So overall, an encouraging November for 2009. All right, that's going to do it for Invisible Walls episode 88. It's also going to do it for Invisible Walls episode 2009. This is our last show. Kind of crazy, right?
But if you hold the 88 sideways, it's two infinity symbols.
That's true. And we will be back
forever.
next year, bigger and badder. Do try to check us out on Friday. Not 100% certain we'll have something there for you, but we're going to try our damnedest. A lot of us are getting out of here this week for the holiday. Everyone have a safe holiday season. Travel safe. Play tons of games. Get some use out of your DS and, God forbid, your PSP for once. Hope everybody has a great holiday season. On behalf of all of us at Invisible Walls, happy holidays.